Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Pam Peak, host of the Club 100 podcast. Welcome to our next episode, where we're going to be sharing those stories that you've seen in so many other podcasts of good Lord, mental, physical transformation, amazing women and men who love to lift heavy things mentally, physically, spiritually. We do it all here with Club 100. And what we love to do is inspire and motivate people to see that honestly, what we do with fitness is a metaphor for life. You can learn resilience that just spreads everywhere. You're going to hear raw, real, and authentic comments and stories about life's challenges, tough times, struggles, and triumphs. Going to learn from all of this. A lot of life lessons built into all of this. All right. And also a shout out to everyone out there who's listening for the first time, maybe, and are really interested in the Club 100 and maybe want to join. We'll just run on over to 100 Club 100 and scope it out. And if you want to become a member, just put 100 on either side of your handle for Twitter, and we'll give you a royal welcome. All right. Today's guest, da-da-da, all right, is someone so many of the members know, because, man, does he know how to chat on that damn 100 chat. And that is Brent Gobay. Excuse me, Gobay, right? Is that, am I saying that thing right?
Yeah, you got it.
All right, Brent. Awesome. Well, Brent, I couldn't wait to get you onto the podcast because, man, you just keep up those conversations right and left on the chat and everything. I'm going to start off right off the bat. How did you even hear about Club 100 and how did you become a member?
Okay, this is interesting because most have a story where Dookie reached out to them, and I have a story where I was going through Twitter and I saw a post from Shannon T, and she just a tremendous powerlifter. Shout out to her because I cannot just say all about me. Shannon T really had a post, a Twitter post where she said somebody's bullying somebody, and I'm not going to stand for it. And I don't think anybody, I think everybody should know that this lady is this fitness influencer, very popular fitness influencer, is bullying somebody. And I'm not going to stand for it. And I was like, wow, who is that lady? Because I can't stand bullies because I've been almost bullied my whole life. And it's affected me through my whole life. So I said, I have to see what this lady's all about because I like the way what she's doing. Because people won't go against a famous, popular fitness influencer. So I looked at Shannon T and I was like, wow, okay. And then I saw these 100s on her two sides of her name. And I was like, okay, what's that about? And then and then in my Twitter feed, it was interesting because other people with the 100s popped up. So I was like, okay, something's going on with this 100 thing. So I looked into it a little bit more, and I found I think I just found the official 100 Club 100, and it said something about what was it? Because it said something if oh yeah, that's right. The official thing had a video that said explains what the Club 100 is all about. If we just love to go hard and heavy, but it's not about popularity. It's about your will and your drive and your determination. And I was like, yeah, because there's clubs out there where you have to be popular and you have to get so many followers and the numbers have to add up, and it's crazy. And I don't like that. It should be about the will and the drive and the fight, and that's what my brand's all about. So we'll get to that, I guess, a little bit later. But yeah, I love that. And I was like, okay. So I watched the little video they had. I believe it was a video. Yeah, video. And so, yeah. And then I said, okay, I want to do that. So I put 100s on my name too. And I believe it was Bobby Cables that first reached out to me, and another great guy from the Club 100. And he said, and then he saw something where he said, I saw what you posted or something. I want to lift with you someday. I want to come. I'm traveling around, and Pennsylvania's pretty close, and I want to go lift with you someday. And this guy's huge, Bobby Cale's big guy. And, I'm just like, oh man, who's he fooling? Nobody's ever requested to lift with me before. To go from New York, Bronx, travel, what is it, 3 hours from the Bronx down to Pennsylvania to lift with me. So that was cool. That got me all fired up. And then he actually watched a video of mine where he said, "You're on fire, bro. I just love that you got all this fire and passion, and keep doing what you're doing." And that just encouraged me greatly. And I've been a member ever since.
Awesome. And how long ago was that, roughly?
Oh, probably since late June. I think it started June. I think it was like June 27th.
Okay, so it hasn't been so long.
No.
And what's really cool is you've obviously found a home, because I watch a lot of the chats and it's like, damn, Brent's in there and just rocking and rolling, for crying out loud. And I love it. And I'm glad you found a home of, people who support you and back and forth. Now, you mentioned a topic that has also been mentioned by other Club 100 members when I've interviewed them, and that is the whole issue of bullying. And I think that people need to understand where that really started, and most importantly, how has fitness itself and really trying to excel at something like this figured into, as it were, a recovery process with the bullying and the rest of it, because we all know it's a lifelong, journey, needless to say. And so, give us a little hint about how the whole thing started.
Well, the whole thing started in grade school when I was held back for being in special education. And, but even further than that, it started just first day on the bus. I was like the last stop on the bus. And so there wasn't too many seats left. I was always the third guy out on the row, hanging, just barely hanging on my half of my butt on that seat, finding two people or, person that'll let me sit with them was ridiculous, because you can't sit here. No, sorry, you can't sit here. It's just all the judgment came just by the way I looked, who I was as a person, that, it was just.
What did you mean the way you looked?
I've always been heavy set. I've always had a little bit of a weight problem, and always been kind of slow. So, I didn't always get the jokes. I didn't always, understand people. Understand where certain people were coming from.
I understand that, as you talk, I can't help but recall the stories with Michael Phelps, when, he's basically in my backyard when he was growing up, very close by. And when he got on the bus and everything, the kids just were merciless because, as you know, he's extremely tall. He's got an incredible wingspan and everything. When he was a little boy, he also had big ears relative to, the rest of his body. And they just tortured him about all of that. And the same thing went with him in terms of not being super, super Nobel Prize winning Swift. And so, kids are really mean. And that people forget that really leaves scars that have to be dealt with. So moving through all of your education, how did that figure in?
Well, and I'm still struggling with, the old rhyme that goes, words will never hurt, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt. That's a load of crap, because you will still feel that, to this, I still feel that to this day, that, anything that's been said to push me down, I still feel like, I'm still catching up. Even at work today, I've had passed over for younger people, at work, that don't have so much of the experience, but I don't know how to talk in a way where people can understand, or management can understand me at certain times. And so I still feel like one of the things that I still remember in school was, where everybody's putting down their pencil for the test. I'm still reading over the directions. I still don't understand, I'm still, getting through the first question, and even at work, there was a point in time where we had this, my manager made this quiz, and she's like going over company policy or just the way we were working that day. And she said, now everybody, I want you to answer 3 questions. And when everybody's done, you guys put down your pens. And okay. And I've read through the first question, and I swear it was only like 2 minutes later, everybody's putting down their pens, and I'm still on the first question. And it's frustrating. It's really aggravating.
Well, I think a lot of people who are listening to this can definitely relate, and that, there's a wide spectrum of how people process information. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, most of the education system, and certainly in the past, was really not adaptable to that. It's like you fell into lockstep, or you were thrown into, and I quote, special ed. And then that carries with it its own, kind of label and category. And then you have to kind of process it for years, like, what does all this mean to me in my life? Now, I got a question for you. When did you start really getting into fitness? And how does fitness figure into your ability to build resilience and to really process this whole life journey thus far?
Wow. Well, my fitness journey started with a high school friend. Well, the weightlifting, I was started actually in high school. I wanted to drop the weight because I wanted to impress this girl I liked in high school. It was a cheerleader, and I wanted to have the confidence to ask her to homecoming. So I went to the high school track, and I worked myself up to, just little bits and pieces. I started walking the whole thing. Then I started jogging the straightaways and walking the curves. And then eventually I was jogging the whole track, and I lost, I got down a good bit of weight. And, but yeah, then in further down in my senior year.
Wait a minute. I want to know whether or not, she went to homecoming with you.
No, that didn't happen. I did have, and that was another thing, for a special ed to ask somebody that was mainstream and a girl that was popular. That took a lot, but I like how she responded. I got rejected, but this is how she responded. I'll never forget this the day I die. She says, I am so flattered that you came up and asked me, but no, I'm dating a guy, and he's already, we're already going together. But I just, the way she handled it was so,
she did it graciously
for her age.
Well, no, but she did it graciously, which is totally cool. Because something, life's just, a crapshoot sometimes. Sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. But what I love about the story is it showed you had it in you to make some changes. And whether or not the motivation was to, hang out with this cheerleader or what, that's important. So then after that, did you continue on the fitness journey in high school?
Yeah. Then my buddy of mine got me, we went a couple times to his house. He showed me barbell presses and stuff like that. Then he took me to the YMCA and got me into the weight room, showed me the machines and that. But that was just a startup beginner, because we once in a while, it wasn't all the time like it is now. But that was the beginning of my weight and fitness journey, the start of that.
And then what happened? In other words, were you still hanging in there with the fitness journey, all this time up till now, or
No,
were there
I was
gaps?
off and on. I was
Off and on.
So, and especially in college, the bulliness still continued because I was working. I'll never forget this either. I was working out lifting in the college gym, and I took a weight. I know I took a weight that I couldn't handle, and it came down on my throat, and I couldn't get it up. And so this guy came over. I was looking right at him. I said, "Can you help me get this?" And he came over to me, and before he pulled it up, he said, you know, I don't like you. You don't belong here, and you will never belong here." And he just laughed, and he started laughing, and then he pulled the bar up off my throat, and and so it's just, and it's interesting. It just goes back to all those times people said you're too fat, you're too slow, you're not strong enough, but I stuck with it off and on. I got a weight set for my house of one of those Bowflex Select Tech, and did that off and on. Excuse me. And then found a weight room because me and my wife have always struggled with financials and stuff. So I needed a place where it would be free. So I started lifting in a youth center pretty regularly after that. But I really didn't get really involved until I started my YouTube channel. And I didn't come really dedicated till I started my YouTube channel, and that was like 2015.
Now, in 2015, you started a YouTube channel, and I think that's where all these pictures behind you come from as well, I assume. So yeah, tell us what this YouTube channel is, and tell us why you put it together. What is it?
It's Armed in All Heart. It's to be your best self. It's to arm yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually so you can be your best self and take on life with all your heart. And along with the YouTube channel, I started a brand.
Wait a minute, I didn't see it. Get that damn thing up here. Let me see. Oh, I see. Very cool. Okay, go ahead.
I went to a design site where I had people bid to make my logo.
That's okay.
That's why I kept the water handy.
So what I love about this, and what I'm really amazed about, because I heard you loud and clear, and for every one of the Club 100 members, listen up, gym bros and gals. All right, we're together because we don't do things like that to people in a gym. It's everyone is welcome. Everyone has a right to be respected and to be supported. And, if I ever saw something like that, and I have in gyms, because I've been lifting for decades. Wow. And whenever I see that, I march right on over. And I have a little convo with whoever just did that. If it's a mean girl, there's a lot of mean girl going on out there. All right. And, if it's some guy who's just sort of, acting over entitled, standing and staring at you, waiting for the leg extension machine or something, it's like, no, you go right into their face and you say, this is not appropriate. It is not acceptable, and we won't tolerate it. End of story. So I'm really sorry you had that experience. I'm really sorry. But here's the good news. You got yourself a good community of people who are supporting you throughout. So that's cool. Now back to your brand, as it were. So you have this YouTube channel, and do you talk to people? Do you have people who share stories with you? How does that whole thing work?
Well, I started it because I wanted to become a brand ambassador, and so I had ill intentions to start off with. I just wanted to get my name out there, and I wanted to get free supplement. It started out that way. But then there was this similar to 100 Club 100. There was this YouTube community called Small Channels Unite, and there was people got together to show their YouTubes off to encourage and inspire. So I started videotaping with the purpose to encourage, inspire any way I could, and just film my workouts and then talk into the camera, whatever I thought quote wise could help encourage somebody. That's mostly what I would put on my YouTube, and that's to this day. Now that's what I do now, only with instead of Small Channels United, I do it with 100 Club 100.
I love that, and I would highly encourage you to do the following. I would encourage you to be as absolutely transparent, authentic, real, raw about your journey with bullying and also with the whole special ed thing. There are just millions of people out there, who are sick and tired of really being put down and then buying it and saying, well, I guess I really am not worthy. Instead of saying, excuse me, I have every right to be here. I have every right to do my thing. And, I'm going to respect you. You respect me. And there's a diversity of people out there, an absolute diversity. And we have to be able to appreciate that. When I say diversity, I mean, not everyone's going to put that pencil down within 2 minutes. They won't, guaranteed. Okay. It doesn't mean anything about your character, about your integrity. If you can put that pencil down in 2 minutes, it's just sad that teachers don't get that. And hopefully, some teachers do, but there's too much of this weird competitiveness that really destroys the entire experience. So that's where that is. Now, here's a question to you, right? What role does fitness play in your developing more resilience in your own life with regard to everything from what goes on at work, personal life, whatever, back and forth? Because what I've heard and know, of course, because of science, is that fitness, when I say fitness, I mean at any level, just getting up, taking care of yourself. You don't have to be out there crushing the weights and everything. But it's just what it does is it teaches you strength, mental strength. And I actually posted this on my Twitter feed the other day and sent it over to the Club 100. And that is, science shows that when you lift weights and when you're taking good care of yourself, that spills over into your life so that you walk into a room feeling stronger mentally, that you feel that you can adapt and adjust more. Now, tell me what that feeling is for you, because I was looking at some of your Twitter feed, and then I'm seeing you crushing some, push-ups and trying to, get it out there and killing it and back and forth. What does that feel like? How does that help you with this whole issue of the lifelong bullying?
Well, one thing I always explain to people is when they approach me, when they see like me doing like 315 or even heavier with deadlifts or whatever it is, that they might not be there and I am. I say, everything starts with the bar, and you have to have faith in yourself. Most of all, if you don't have any faith, I have my faith in Jesus Christ. But if you just have some faith in yourself, that's what you need to lift that bar. That bar isn't going to move itself. You need to, faith is tremendous because you have to believe that you can do it. You have to believe whether it's just a barbell or it has 3 plates, 2 plates, 1 plate. You have to believe that you can move that and you can do it. And so it starts with it's like you said, it starts with a mindset. And then it starts with a faith, because if you don't believe that you can't do anything in the gym, then you're not going to achieve it.
Now, how does that spill out into your life? How does that, let's make a connection between what you just said and how you're processing a lifelong bullying that had gone on. How does that help you?
Well, it's definitely it gives me a confidence.
There you go. Self-confidence.
Yep. Because it's interesting. I have to share this story because when I was at my first and only powerlifting meet, because I've been injured a couple times, but I had a friend, and I consider him a coach, James Vest, a very popular bodybuilder friend, and he was there to support me. And after the whole thing, he came over to me and I said, I've always been laughed at because I've always been too weak and I've not been strong enough. And he said, listen, Brent, nobody is laughing anymore because you just put it all out on the table today. And I am so proud of you. And you are so much stronger than or them bullies now. They have nothing on you.
Good. How did you feel when he said that? Did you believe him?
Oh, absolutely. That was tremendous. That was, I didn't even think about it at the time. There's nobody's laughing now,
Okay. When you go to work or when you're somewhere else, do you feel different about yourself? When you walk in a room, you obviously are looking great. And it's obviously a piece of a journey, as it is for every single one of us. So when you now face whatever in life, whether it's going to a party, whether it's doing something professionally or otherwise, do you actually feel different about yourself?
Well, absolutely. When you have one thing about fitness, it's all about goals, and it's all about making those little goals into a bigger goal that might be a dream to one day. Like you always set goals and always have something you want to achieve in life because that makes life have purpose.
Purposeful. Yep.
And So when you set goals and you crush them and you get there and then you make another goal to get to the next step, you get a little pride and you get a little confidence that, that if you can achieve that, you can apply it to other aspects of your life. So yeah, there's always a confidence, even though sometimes I might not show it, that, I might not always feel like coming into my work job daily and smiling from ear to ear and high-fiving everybody. But there's always a self-confidence now because because the fitness aspect, goes through your whole life. I mean,
no question. And that's what many people don't, or forget, or maybe they never knew or made a connection. And that is when you're taking better care of yourself and you could actually see it. You say to yourself, wow, I'm starting to develop some muscles over here. I'm trimming, excess fat. I'm feeling healthier. I sleep better. My relationships are better. I'm not as moody. I could go on, you get the whole picture, let alone what it does for your health, which is sort of, straightforward. If more people saw that by doing routine self-care through fitness, that they would be able to see such an improvement in the quality of their life. Wow, that's pretty amazing on the overall. It really, really is. Because I got to say, the bullying thing is very, very ubiquitous. It's everywhere. And a lot of people don't talk about it because it's so damn painful to bring up. They don't want to say anything about it. And you very courageously you've shared. And I really think that you found a place here. You found a really very valuable role in giving voice to those people who've just kept quiet and silent. And when someone says, you can't sit here, they just sort of move off to somewhere else versus just saying, excuse me, this is an empty seat and I'd like to sit here. End of story. And there you go. So you're making more positive memories to help neutralize many years of funky ones. I'm reminded of what the famous Olympic sprinter Flo Jo once said, and it stuck with me for years and years and years. It was just 3 words, and I use them all the time. And this is to your wonderful point about believe. So the first word is believe. So you're right. If you don't believe, you can go in there and you may not be able to do it today, but you're going to set up a plan to be able to do it. So maybe, today it's 100 pounds, but in your heart that 150 is coming up, but you're going to have to work it. Do the work, son. Do the work. Okay. So believe is the first one. And that is the most powerful of all. Many people think you could just act like you're a robot, walk right into a, gym, go, okay, I'll just do this. No, if you don't believe you can do it, honey, listen, you're wasting your time and everyone else's. The second word, once you 100% believe, is achieve. Now what you're doing is you're achieving, just like you did in that powerlifting competition. You were achieving. You achieved the ability to be able to get to that meet, lift that weight, whatever it was for you, and make that coach proud, let alone yourself. Achieve is where the work is done, doing work. And then there's a third word that Flo Jo came up with. When you believe and you achieve, you succeed. And so now you define what success is. I don't care what the next guy is. You define your own success. You may be perfectly happy at 200 pounds, in terms of that deadlift. I don't know. I'm making numbers up here. And maybe some other guy is crushing it at 400. God bless him. Let him do that. Mm-hmm. But for you, your success was defined by that X number of pounds. And for that, you give yourself a major slap on the back, and you should feel really good when you walk out of that gym. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. It's interesting you said about the not sitting at the table, because that was another thing with bullies and stuff. That you get to the lunch tables and you can't sit here either. You if you went through the bus thing, now you have the lunch tables. You're not allowed to sit here, and it's just great because 100 Club 100 is a non-lunch. Everybody come to the lunch table. I don't care where you're from, who you are. Everybody's welcome at the 100 Club 100 lunch table. I love it. That's what I love about all the members about that.
Good. And I if you become a member, we can get you into that little chat, and then you guys can sit there and have at it all day long, as all of you do.
And they can go too.
Just watching the Twitter feed go right and left, and oh my God, these people are just making me crazy. But seriously, oh my gosh, what a community to be able to help support every single person's journey. And what people recognize are members like yourself, Brent, who are doing work. Because you know something? Oh my goodness gracious. The only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary. That's it. Okay? So the only way you're ever going to succeed is by first doing the work. And a lot of people think it's just magic. Oh, this is not that bad. Oh, really? Yeah, let's hit the gym. Let's have a little conversation about that workout. And, so many of us do this because it's fantastic for health. As you get older and older, right? And that means, I mean, I'm not kidding, after the age of 40 and 50, let alone 60, 70, and whatever, it is imperative that you stay strong physically. Obviously, endurance, strength, balance, flexibility, all these things are really important, and you should be working with all of those. But strength becomes even more important as you cross over the thresholds of 40 and 50, because now you're building a base that will help you stay physically and mentally independent as you age. Because most of us want to avoid dependence. Like, oh, help me out of a chair. It's like, no, get out of my way. I'm going to get out of my own damn chair. That's the badass attitude we highly encourage here at the Club 100. So does all that make sense? Again, the importance and how it spills off into health, mental resilience, and then that strong inner self-confidence that I see in you, Brent.
Yeah, you got to do it for yourself. I mean, nobody, like you said, I mean, nobody's going to do it for you. You have to find it within you, and just that goes for any belief. You have to, it starts with you. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're the ones who are accountable. So I'm going to give you, as we're closing this up, because this has been fabulous. So if someone's sitting out there and they're saying, and I've been bullied all my life and I just feel like such a friggin' loser and I don't even know where to begin. I don't know, what he's saying is so compelling, but okay. What would you say to someone like that? They're sitting on the fence. What would you do?
I wanted to joke around because I know a lot of people just say, just start, but and that is true. That is true. I love it. I love those people. But yeah, you just and that is, see, I mean, different things mean I think the most important is get a plan. So many people I hear to this day, there's so many tweets out there, fitness tweets that say, I see a lot of guys or people coming in, especially young bucks coming in, and they don't have a plan. I've kept a excuse me. I've kept an Excel spreadsheet since I started my fitness journey with all my lifts and stuff and my goals. And I got that idea from Jay Cutler. He had a bodybuilder, Jay Cutler. He had a bodybuilding from A to Z or whatever. I forget what it was, but one of his tips was have a plan. Write down everything you feel, and log every workout, log your food, log how you feel even.
Exactly. So when you say have a plan, that's one of the most important, concepts in really doing all of this effectively. And there's a wonderful saying that I just live by. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And if you really want to be able to do anything in life, I don't care if you're just packing for a damn trip, you've got to have a plan. It's like, well, let's see now, how long am I going to be gone for? What do I need? How many workouts am I going to do? Did I bring my workout stuff? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, how about that plan? And for many people, plan is a 4-letter word. They just don't want to deal with it. Well, then, you're going to suffer, because without a plan, you cannot grow and you cannot progress. You can't make any progress. And that's one of the reasons why what you just said, Brent, is so unbelievably important. Brent, I want to thank you so much for this opportunity to talk to you, because I know for a natural fact that there are folk out there who are incredibly grateful for your literally giving voice to what many people just keep to themselves and hold on to a lot of pain. I just want to thank you for that, Brent. You're awesome.
Well, thank you for the opportunity as well. I'm smiling ear to ear because just to get an opportunity for a person like me, I think I'm not worthy.
Okay. All right. All right. That crap,
people.
Bren, listen, that crap ends today. For a person like me, don't ever say that again. Just say, hey, I'm real honored to be on this thing. I'm feeling really good. I'm on my journey. I'm working it. And thank you so much. Instead, for a person like me, don't buy into that BS. Do not buy into it.
That's all that stuff from the past creeps up like that.
So you have to have like a little antenna here. It says, whoa, bullying BS.
The person I don't want to be, but the person that's still. Okay,
so now you're going to remember never to say that again. All right. Listen, everyone out there. Well, we're wrapping up yet another awesome episode of the Club 100 podcast. Please follow us at 100 Club 100. If you want to be a new member, just put those two 100s on either side of your little Twitter handle, and then let us know you're joining up, and we'll give you a wonderful welcome. I'm Dr. Pam Peeke, and it is my absolute pleasure to host the Club 100 podcast. Everyone out there, have a great day.